Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. The ladies here again from Whatever and Stuff, here to rejuvenate and begin our week with smiles. I'm Mia. We have Pastor G and Larisha here to have a
Hello.
conversation. Here to have a great conversation. Ladies, we're picking back up on communication, our first conversation, which is so enlightening. And we agreed that we were going to keep the ball rolling with communication. And I think we left off with being open to receive. And honey, that probably could be unfolded in so many different ways. But let's just start it off with what that looks like, right? Communication is hard because we all hear what we want to hear. We talked about that before, but being open to receive, that has been a lesson that I think I'm still learning in life.
We're always learning. So I think we're always learning. So
yeah, I think I'm still trying to figure it out. I've gone through stages of like hearing it, not wanting to hear it, then learning how to hear it, which really wasn't hearing it, which is being quiet while it was being said. And then when I started listening, I was like, And then I think so that puts me in like my late 30s, maybe, open to receive through, all the bumps and bruises that life took me through, what communication looks like. But let's talk about that whole open to receive piece, because it's important in so many stages. And as a little kid, you don't even understand open to receive. It's hot, you touch it, you burn yourself, you don't do it again. Communication. As a teenager, you're the cub.
yeah.
You're being told
it's too much going on.
It is between hormones and life and a little bit of everything.
Do you know what?
Yes.
A whole hodgepodge.
A whole hodgepodge. All right.
But I would say high school, I think definitely open to receive. If it's coming from like your friends, if you have a core group of friends in high school, I think it was easier to receive. Again, it's from your friends because I always go.
It was college for me because honestly, for me, that's where the true friendship started. Because for me, high school, it's not too many that I'm close with.
Oh, I had two.
I mean, you go different ways, and if you've never left where we're from, I'm probably not gonna stay connected to you, and that's unfortunately some things with the females, and the males. But for me, definitely from you all, as I've gotten into adulthood, because in college. Listen, when one was broke, we were all broke. When one got something to eat, it's like where you really grew up. And it was more like proving that the friendship was there. I know for me, I had my family and stuff. So friends really didn't, you know what I mean?
I had friends in high school. Yeah. So we have been friends since we were younger. So we came up through elementary, middle, and high school together. It's almost the same group of friends. So they were, of course, true friendships. And then, of course, then we lead into college to you all, which is still an even deeper type of friendship. I will agree. So the friendship to me that I acquired in college was a deeper friendship, just because we were around each other all of the time, going through a lot of the same experiences and just really growing up together. Yeah. Young adults.
You guys just made me think, because I'm sitting here thinking about it, and high school, college was a little different for me. I mean, I had my core group of friends, yes, but this could also be, I did attend school in the town that I'm from, but I realized that I didn't really get peer support, Gina, until I met you, and I'm gonna explain why. I've always been the sound mind for my friend groups. Right. Okay. So my person through my college years, which was really when my mother was going through her spaces of the what they call the mental illness, was Michelle, her mother, because I was there probably 3 or 4 days out of the week. I spent most of my weekends there. And even though it was fun, we would play dominoes and cards and all those things, she would talk, Mimi, you got to make sure that you balance out your refrigerator. You need to make sure you have your meats. You need to make sure you have these things. And when you go to the grocery store, you make sure you have your can. Like, she took me through how to balance your money. Like, she took me through all those things. And I had a lot of older women. It wasn't until I became a Delta that my friend age group became vast. And I was no longer the oldest one out of the bunch, because I was the older one in my friend groups in college. that I met Gina, and I had like Chanel, you know, like my older friends who were closer to my age, who might have experienced things that I hadn't experienced yet. Because I had, up until that, I mean, I really did get advice from my father and my mother. Right? You know, my mother
Which
used
is
to
good
always say,
advice, which is sound advice. Yeah.
Which
I mean,
is
that's who
amazing.
it is. Yeah.
But you're right, having those friends or whatever. And I mean, I remember with Mia, and this is, I mean, we're going way further, but like when Mia made a decision back in 2015 to do something, you know, I wish I knew then what I know now about her being in a position to receive, you know, the choice to get married. You know, but it was to somebody, I don't know this nigga. Like, I don't know who this dude is. Because I wasn't in Baltimore and because I did not know him, I didn't feel I had any real ground to be open
have that conversation
about my feelings. And honestly, it went back to her dad. I just believe that when you have your family, I have to take a pause back. That didn't happen when she, you know, took her hiatus. People like, you know, where is she? I don't know. She cut everybody off. So why do you think I know? But because I knew she was with her family,
she was safe.
Yeah.
I have no questions. And so I don't have anything to say. Larisha and I, we talk about this with another friend of ours from Hampton, that a certain friend group are always concerned. I'm not. She's with her mom.
She's safe. She's
Listen,
good.
It's a safe space, but to go back to Mia in 2015, that's why I didn't say anything, because I'm like, yo, Daddy Ferg.
Yeah.
Daddy Ferg cosign. It's good. And you know, when we spoke years later, she was like, yeah, no. I appreciate the fact that you think he co-signed it. If there's ever anything you need to say to me, I'm gonna need you to say all that.
Because it is difficult, just you all talking about that situation with friends, especially close friends. It is difficult sometimes to say, you know, is this some time where I should step in? Like, is it really even my place to step in? Because sometimes it really isn't.
Absolutely, yes. It's the place.
No, it is. And I think we've learned through situations that we've gone through that it almost always is okay to at least step in and give, like, us, not even advice, but just say, are you okay? Have you thought about these things? Are you sure about this? Especially for life-changing events. I think as friends we should, but at the same time, I've been there, you know, where you kind of take a step back, like, well, this is not for me to interfere. But as friends, I think sometimes we probably should more than we don't.
Now I know that, and again, it's all about the delivery. Because again, sometimes it could, because I think sometimes you have to check yourself, especially as women, when it comes to relationships and marriage. If that's not something you've experienced, if it's a desire, you have to kind of check, is this coming from a place of real concern, or am I in my feelings and not my feelings? Because I want what she wants. It wasn't anything. I mean, it was just, Mia knows.
Yeah.
The route she took is not the route I take, but I don't knock anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Your happiness is your happiness, and how you find it.
Right.
Is about you. And I have full confidence in my line sister and my Oprah's judgment. You know,
and to Gina, to your point, and Melissa and my father and I had this same conversation about that same situation. And Melissa was just like, Mia, I've never seen you happy like that before. And so she was just like, I wanted that for you. But didn't know what all the other things were, not because it was anything that it wasn't that it was a secret, but you know, you get one thing and then you realize you got another, right? And so
that's where the questions come in. That's where the questions come in. Yeah. That's like, okay, you seem happy about this. So this is the part, this is something that you seem happy about. What about these other parts? Have you thought about because we all know, that, you know, one thing could seem wonderful, but there's a few other things that may need to be handled. So yes,
right. And to what Gina's saying, and I would say all of my friend groups, honestly, we have such open, candid conversation, and we are open to receive from each other, right? A lot of times on my friend group chat with me, Melissa, Johari, Makita, Melissa will go in about, a company she has a contract with, and Johari, she's in education, so it's always something about North Avenue, blah 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 blah. And so I always say, well, friend, are you hearing what they're saying, or are you hearing what you're feeling? And Melissa will say, I'm 1,000% in my feelings, and I'll say, let that go, and go back to what the email said. Don't read into it. Read what it says, right? And so going back to, and just circling back around to, being open to receive, I think that falls in so many categories. Obviously, we're women of faith, so we're there with it, right? But then sometimes, professionally, sometimes it says no turn on red, you turn and you wonder why you got hit by the car, because you weren't. Simple things like, I know my personal experience, God had to tap me on the shoulder a couple of times and be like, are you not listening? And I was like, dang, you did try to tell me a couple of times, and I wasn't open to receive. And he was just like, okay, so since you didn't want to take it, you didn't want to do it my way, you kept wanting to do it your way, I'm gonna show you what my way looks like.
Yeah, and that's happened to all of us.
And my father, about 3 years ago, he hit it on me so realistic. He said, I don't think Megan was born yet. He was telling me this story. And, it's no secret that my grandmother played a role in just the detriment of everybody, right? And so she was in Baltimore. He went to sleep. He said he had the scariest dream he ever had before. And he said, in this dream, the devil came to him. And he said, Mia, at first, I just thought it was your grandmother. She was here. She just causing all these issues, blah, 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 blah. He said it was the biggest, scariest thing I'd ever seen. It scared me so much in my dream. I was running. And then this other huge, massive thing that looked scarier than the other thing appeared. And it said, I'm God. And he said, in my dream, I had the decision to either question whether or not this thing in front of me that looked scarier than what I was running from, that was the devil, was God, or to trust that it was God. He said, I trusted it was God. He said, I ran, and it went from dark to light immediately. This was his dream. He said, in that moment, I knew what receiving looked like. Wow. And when he told me that, this is about 3 years ago, when he told me that, was it 2 years ago when he broke his hip? That was 2 years ago. When he told me that, I know how my father's dreams are. So I know a lot of things. He's very prophetic. A lot of his dreams come around, right, in different ways, but they come. And when he said that to me, I was like, yeah, I don't want to have to keep learning over and over and over again. And I don't want the devil showing up in my dreams. I just need God to know that I'm going to trust what it looks like. And so I have been open to receive, whether it's trying new things, whether it's meeting new people, whether it's hearing a conversation that I might not want to hear, whether it's, I try. And so that was my turning point to just say, Mia, just be open. Just be open.
Yeah. Listen, the biggest thing, and I said this to the brothers at Bergen County Jail, and I love going there every Thursday. God simply wants us to trust him. Not me trusting Larisha, not me trusting you, not me trusting the man that I know he created for me. No. And like I said, for me, even at 49, and I'm grateful. I know I don't look it because good black don't none of us. I had to realize, like, I depended on, it was mommy and daddy. In my mind, I'm like, well, dude, you gave them to me. So like, these are the vessels you chose for me. Like, and that he's like, but no, I need you to trust me. And like, I'm reading in Ezekiel right now, and Ezekiel had it rough because he was prophet to the Jews in exile. So he gave nothing but despair and gloom. But I'm in these sections where Egypt and Tyre and Sidon and all of these lands are being destroyed. And the thing was, because Israel elevated y'all, I'm going to have to take y'all down. Yeah. Because Israel depended on you instead of depending on me, and made you think more highly. And I was like, ooh. And so we do have to be careful, receive from him, even if people are doing their vessels. You still have to see how God works, and he's jealous. He says it, I'm a jealous God. Like, who wouldn't be? Because without me, you would have access to none of these things. And so even when your friends are giving you perspective, you can't praise and honor them.
No.
You thank God for using them.
Yeah.
And having friends who could tell you that hard truth, so it could be a safe place.
Yeah.
So it comes with a real level of maturity. That's why you got to keep living, because the more you live and you think back on your life, because these lessons don't have to be hard, but like we said before, they're hard because of the choices we make.
Yeah. And I do think, just from experience, we've talked about really going to the Lord on your own, for yourself, for your issues, is more than likely always the best thing first. Just because it's your issue. And going to someone else and hearing their perspective is okay, but you guys all know me. That has always been me from the beginning with most situations that I've gone through. Just because I respect and honor all of your opinions, but ultimately it has to be my decision. And sometimes the outside person can almost try to sway your decision, and it really isn't the best decision for you. So it's like, okay, so let me
to those people. That's my thing. Like, go down, because my prayer is, God, whoever you're going to use, because he's going to use that. He speaks to me through his word.
Right. Yeah. So it's not to say you can't listen, but you also have to discern who you're hearing it from. You do. It's just really,
say it again, Marisha.
Is it this spirit or is it that spirit? That's discerning, because every spirit is not coming.
No. And again, we don't know prior experiences. And I will say, I'll give it a quick thing, not too personal, but just when I had, when I had Jayla, I did not know that my experience of me choosing at that time to keep my child, and move forward with a life with my now husband, really was a trigger for certain people because they chose something different. May have been in the same situation, but chose something different. And I respect any and everyone's decision to do what you feel is best for you. But again, had I went to someone with what I was going through, they may have tried to sway my decision because of a decision that they had made prior to me.
So Larisha, stop right there, because let me say this, and this is true, and this person and I talk about this, it comes up a lot. Had I been around during my hiatus, a cute little chocolate drop that we love right now might not have been here. Because I would have said, I don't know what the hell you doing, but you need to, you making the wrong decision, because he's saying to you what it is. And you don't need to put yourself in that position. But guess what? I wasn't here to make that comment. And I know that my opinion is valuable, right, to this person. But because I wasn't even around, I came back and little chocolate drop was here.
Yeah.
You see
again, those are things where, again, you have to go inward.
I know it did.
You know I'm delayed.
I know it did.
Short yellow bus, and that ain't nothing.
It didn't register with me, but that's completely fine. We don't even need to talk about it. But I'm just saying that is one of my examples of,
because I would have hopped in the car and taken
inward. Yeah.
But here's the thing with what Larisha's saying, and I think this is with a lot of us. We don't know what certain triggers are, and at that age, 21, we would have no clue. As to what it was. Is only as you continue to live and allow yourself to look back, because that's the only way to heal. You got to go backwards. Sometimes going back is painful, but you have to go through that
emotional
feel the pain in order to really heal. Just like sometimes with certain scars, those scars have to rip, and bleeding have to take place for new skin to come and heal and develop. And so no, it's really real, but being able to receive, I've missed blessings. My house got to foreclosure. I went into debt because I refused to receive from a real man. This was a real man, but because I was of a certain age and a mindset, independent, I took a real man trying to be my father. And hindsight was 2020, since he wasn't trying to be your father. He was a real man, a protector, someone who had the experience as a homeowner in dealing with certain stuff, but me being strong independent, whatever, and being immature. I wasn't able to receive. Years later, it dawned, and I apologized when I came down for me. And for me, that's the biggest thing. Even if you missed receiving, be humble.
Yeah.
But also, guess what God gonna do? He gonna keep running it back. I realize that too. When you don't pick up on his little hints and he's gonna be like, I'm gonna keep running it back. So when you start going through the same things, whether it's your finances, your relationships, and you don't realize it's not the person, it's you. He's trying to show you, teach you, expose you. And if you don't get it, he gonna keep running that thing back. He keep running it back. He will keep rewind, play. And eventually, some people don't get tired of the rewind play.
No, they don't.
No.
That's the
But I know I wanted to proceed. I want to play. I want to take the tape out, put a new one in, right?
Because you know what the future holds. See, it's unfortunate when, as people, you just live day to day. Now, I'm not saying I'm worried about tomorrow. That's not what I'm saying. But I know he knows the plans he has for me, and I know the plans are great because the things that he's allowed me to do. And when you really understand your purpose, when you really understand your reason for being, you don't need all of that stuff blocking you up from where he's trying to take
and the promises. I mean, he's already given us the promises, so we know what he's promised for us. Yeah,
do what we're supposed to do, and obedience really is greater than sacrifice. And I try to tell people, I would much rather deal with the outcomes of obedience than the consequences of my choosing.
Yeah,
because when you do choice, it's consequential. When you're obedient, you have an outcome. And outcomes are far better than the consequences of your own choosing.
Yeah.
And it's a daily struggle. I mean, let's think about it. We know all day, like all day, so many choices. Like you said, it really is. You just, knowing what's right and doing what's right. And it's doing. I mean, that could go from anything to, we all know we're all of us. Thankfully, we can get up every morning. We can move our limbs. We have breath in our bodies. But are we getting up and are we exercising? Are we making the best choices with eating? All the things. All the things are we doing? And we don't necessarily always do it, but
self has been a struggle for me.
With all the right intentions of doing what we should.
Every day,
yeah.
And that's
every day.
The beautiful thing. And when you know better, you do better. It's when you know better and you still want to do. And the reality is, like I tell people, can y'all read his book? Because I'm trying to tell you, if you read,
all the lessons are in there.
We are the rebellious, stubborn Israelites. We're doing what we want to do. He rescued us. He's made a way, and we still choosing.
Gina, I don't concede into the fact that this what always happens, the empires, how the empires rise and they fall. Oh, we don't want to fall. I am clear. No one can tell me different. I said he done shown it to you. He done wrote it in the good book. He done explained it. He done rearranged it, and we still don't get it.
We're repeating history because we don't think. And again, it's choice. The greatest gift that God gave us has been
your choice.
But he's not taking it back because he's done so much. If what he's done is not enough to penetrate your heart, your mind, and your body, to understand that nothing is possible without him. And this is what I ask people, go back to your own mom and dad. Like, that's really how I look at God. I look at God like Calvin and Brenda. And so the same way that I heard them, God feels it too, just because God is a being. You know what I mean? And things of that nature. And I try to tell parents, how would you feel if your children paid no attention to the sacrifices you made? Disregard what you, it's no different. And all he says is, if you get it wrong, ask for forgiveness. But then don't keep doing the same thing. Like, that's the thing. Don't ask him to forgive you for the same thing over and over, because then it's going to be a moot point.
Yeah.
At some point, and like you said, he's going to take you down. And I've been through the wilderness. I thank God for my wilderness experience because it woke me up. You know what I mean? And I appreciate it, but I don't want to go through that again.
No one do that again.
And I think we've probably all have had a few wildernesses by this point in life. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
So
people
we're doing
don't
now.
believe.
It's all good.
Listen,
Listen.
can we say 2024? 2024. But let me tell you, I've had many a day that I've sat on that porch, calm, together, and said, "Oh, I've seen this before. I know
It's
how
a different
to
kind of peace.
Here we go.
Yeah.
I know how to receive this." And the last time, all I had to do was sit and wait for it to pass me by. And guess what I did? All of 2024, 10 toes down and let that thing just go on past me. Like, okay, you know how the dogs are, they just be turning looking like this. This is
What
me.
do our elders say? Our elders say, "Keep on living."
Listen,
Keep on
Keep on
living.
living.
whole thing, because you don't have to go through the hard part. And here's the thing, he's not always going to use somebody that you want to receive from. That's the other thing. And that's why I think I said it before. My prayer is, because Gina knows Gina. I know all this right here. So Gina has to be real, Lord, make me receptible. Make me receive, because I know you're not always gonna come through somebody I care to hear from.
Most times it's people you don't even know or you just met.
Yeah.
They scoot into your life for real. They scoot in. They're there for a little bit and they scoot on out.
Or it could be a conversation with someone in a store. I mean, it could be even something, it could be
random.
It could be anything, but when you know the journey you're on, and like for me, I know I just want to be used of him. I know that I want to be used to his glory in ministry, whatever that looks like, if that's preaching, if that's teaching, if it's whatever. I know I want to be the best preacher, teacher, pastor that he's calling me to be, but I know I can't do it on my own. And just because I went to seminary, that don't mean a daggone thing. That just put me further in debt. You know what I mean? But it's really being in the trenches with the people and doing the uncomfortable things.
Who want to do that work? Yeah, that body work.
And because of that, it's like, then sis, you can't be doing some of this stuff that you do, because he's not gonna use you. You got to let some of this stuff go. And that's why the brothers, they like, yo, that's why we fool with y'all, because y'all are real. First of all, y'all thrive off of energy. If I come up in here being fake, I'm gonna get myself embarrassed, and ain't nobody trying to.
But definitely in that atmosphere, I'm sure they can spot someone fake in a second.
Heartbeat. But God will use anybody. Nobody is perfect. Lord have mercy, really? No.
What happened?
Your friend is calling me, and I lost y'all. Here we go.
Oh, we see you.
Yeah,
we see you.
I'm on.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's okay. But yeah, no, absolutely. Like I remember, I at your, my brain was about to say coronation. It was not a coronation. What was it, Gina?
Ordination.
Ordination. Thank you. At your ordination, when you had that moment, I knew. I said, oh, it is
with my brother,
like Donkey Kong. I said, oh, she has taken it all in, and I was so moved by you. In that moment, through the whole process. I mean, because Gina been in school for the last 20 years.
Oh, since I've known her.
Okay. Yeah, ever since I knew her, Gina's been in school, right? So
since I've known her.
And then she had the nerve to say, probably about a year later, well, I was thinking I said, you are not going back to school.
But you know what? So this one I'm gonna say, if that's what you want to do it. I mean, because you are a professional learner. I will say, think about it though. You really thrive off of extra structure. Like how some people need structure. She needs learning structure. She does.
Right. Loves it. Yeah, loves it. Yeah, but just to have heard through the years and then see in that moment, there were so many things during that process that Gina received, right? But we all had to knock it down. Now, unfortunately, I had to be on my back with a whole bag coming out of my stomach to receive a lot, right? And I had a lot of tears, I had a lot of prayers, I had a lot of things that I went through, and then I just found peace, and I was like, oh, this is it?
But to go through that,
I had to deal with this. But this is the outcome. Oh, I'll do peace again. I'll do that again. I'll do that to be here, peace, right? And so it opened me. So I think about how many people don't understand their purpose. They don't even know their purpose exists. I think about the stories that we read in the Bible. People don't even read it. I used to be shocked at how many people. I used to say to myself, well, how many times? Okay, you do an altar call every week. Who is coming to the altar? Every week, someone's coming to the altar because people don't No, God.
Oh, they don't.
And I
But
assume
it's the surface
but
relationship.
that's a
not
really
invested.
you had that assumption. I think.
oh, Larisha, I used to listen. I didn't understand it until probably into my late 30s. I used to be like, well, exactly what is the testimony? Like, what are you doing? Like, what is going on?
But
And
you
then I
know what?
realized
It's
the
surface.
testimony.
Oh
Like,
yeah, but I was gonna say you have to really think, because I think broad. I don't think small, but it's exposure. Like, yes, we came from families where we were
right,
exposed to the Lord as from babies. So we
right,
were all raised in ministry, raised
right,
in church.
right,
So yeah, that was like second nature. Okay, that's just what
right,
but even for
right.
me in high school, a lot of my girlfriends did not go to church. Their
At all.
families,
Didn't
and
believe
these
and
were
were open about not believing in God. I'd be like, oh, you are the
yeah,
devil.
no, but a lot of it is just exposure, and that even
Right,
You
goes
don't
back
know
to
what you don't know.
you
right,
don't, you have
But
no
right,
idea.
right.
points in life happen where you know God.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I tell people respectfully, I don't try to discount what you did as a childhood, but once you become of age, baby,
Yes, but
you
I
know
agree. But just even knowing there's so many people
Yeah,
that really have never had exposure as
no,
children, so even young adults to adults have never been exposed. So to think
Mhm,
that they know about the Lord, they don't.
mhm,
and that's the
mhm.
challenge of ministry as a pastor. You're
Mhm.
dealing with literal adults who
Adults.
are infants in Christ, and these are
Yeah.
people who've lived in the world, they've survived, and now you're telling me, and it's like, no, I'm not telling you because you confess. So
Mhm.
I believe I can hold you accountable because of your voluntary action. You confess. I didn't solicit you to come down this aisle and to
Mhm.
confess that you believe in Christ. That's something that the Spirit was in you. You confessed it. Now I can hold you accountable to your
Right.
confession. But again, it's day by day, and we have to understand
Mhm,
that we become new in Him. And all
Yes.
He's saying is don't be conformed to this world, because this
mhm,
world literally has nothing to offer you,
mhm,
Mhm.
mhm,
Yeah.
especially in the state that is
mhm.
now. If it was back in the Garden of Eden before
Something
Adam and Eve,
different.
what they did
Something
now,
Yeah.
different.
that's a whole
Mhm.
different world.
Whole different world.
But this
Yeah.
world right now, and so it's this is like we say, it's a marathon. This thing is not a race. You are on this journey, and God just wants to see those who endure, those of us who
Yeah.
will never give up, who
Yeah.
will strive every day. And the perfection is simply trying to live like Christ, to live His word out, being compassion,
Mhm.
compassion, being kind.
Showing gratitude. Yes. Being
And as we say,
thankful.
we're not using that word perfect. We're not saying be perfect.
No,
Who
Because
said
none of us are
perfect?
perfect.
be
We
mature.
didn't say
Nobody
perfect.
is
Yeah.
perfect except for Christ. But when you're wrong, say you're wrong. If you have a disagreement with somebody, go to them. Don't
Mhm,
gossip. Don't no
mhm.
address the person. And for me, that person should be able to receive what you're saying if it's coming from a sincere place.
And if
See,
they
you're
hear
not
what you're
going to
saying.
receive it if they know the delivery and everything, which is why sometimes, and we said this in prior conversation, sometimes things are best left unsaid. Because if you're
Okay.
coming from a place of emotion, don't speak. If
Right.
you're coming from a place of frustration,
Yes.
your mouth shut.
Practice the pause.
Take a second. Think
Until
Practice the
about
you
pause.
it
are good
until you're ready. Yes.
and
Yes.
you're okay with it and you're just sharing, no judgment.
Right.
But sometimes I just talk to him, you talk to your child because you made them. So you know far better than me how to
That's
get.
yours.
Let me keep focusing on this, because sometimes you got to ask yourself, is it even worth it? Like, if what they didn't kill me,
Yeah.
if it
I'm
didn't impact my life and
yes. I'm a definite. Sometimes it's okay to say nothing. I mean, I know to some people it's like would that be considered passive aggressive?
Girl, I
No.
don't care what is
Passive
considered.
aggressive.
Just do it. Because I
It's
I'm
me.
like,
No,
I just
that's me a lot.
okay.
Sometimes it really just depends on the situation. And it's not, I mean, but I tend to be non-confrontational depending on what the issue is. And sometimes it's better just to say, you know what, Lord, it's okay. I'm
Okay.
gonna go ahead and take the higher road. I'm gonna take it on. And guess what? And after the end of the day, I'm gonna go to sleep. And in the morning, it's gonna be fine. It's not even worth
And I
that
learned
back and forth. Yeah.
I learned working with dealing with my mother. Like when I realized that we weren't dealing with the mother that I knew growing up, and I was dealing with a different mother, and I understood what she was going through, those spaces.
Yeah.
That hit me so fast. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Until Richard, one day Richard was like, Ferguson, You will okay somebody to death. I said, listen, that okay is better than anything else I will say out of my mouth. You will be okay with the okay. Be okay with the okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Because there's some things you can't control, and even with the okay, no is a complete sentence. You don't have to give anybody else anything after no. If they no,
absolutely. No is a complete sentence. Absolutely.
No is a complete sentence, and people should be able to receive no's and not take it personal. Yep. I think, like we said, a lot of it is self-examination. I think more times you have to check yourself before you try to check somebody else.
Yep.
I think once you do enough self-checking, then you're good to have that sounding board. Like I'm sure you talk to your husband, like, okay, love. And that's why God will place the right people. You know, because now, babe, is that really worth it? No.
No. Yeah.
Or again, like my favorite scene in The Color Purple, and I used to reference this all the time. When Celie said, "Sometimes I just sit back and see what the wall gonna look like," and I will look at that wall and be like, "What's this wall gonna look like today?"
Oh, goodness.
And I say that out loud to people, and they're like, "Mia, you are so funny." I said, "Listen, I might be humorous to you, but trust me, this is the advice I'm taking. I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna watch and see what that wall look like. And if that wall still standing, or the wall look like a colorful picture, or that wall then disappeared altogether, whichever way it flows, that's where I am. That's where I am with it."
And saying no is has never always been easy for me. I've been getting better at saying no, and I admit that. I've always, it's just you want to say yes, but really no. My grandmother used to say, like, no is like it's deliverance. Like it's okay to say no.
Is that when you said that? I thought about my sister. I think it's a firstborn thing as well.
Okay.
Because with my sister in love. And I really think that's what it is. And when you said that your firstborn is responsible. First is responsible. And so I think with firstborn children, it's innate in you.
It 100% is. It is.
So I can understand where that comes from. And so when you look at birth order
is a thing.
That's probably true, Marisha. Now that I think about that, you're right.
But I've gotten better because half of the time I've learned that when you say no, when you say yes and you really wanted to say no, later, like the effect of that is you're upset with yourself for saying yes. And it's something you really did not want to do. And you can't be mad at the other person because really all you had to do was be honest and say no. So I've been getting better at that. It really
I say no now before I say yes, and then I'll come back with a yes. But I say no. I say no first.
Okay. Because I'm at a point now where and people might get, well, I don't really, I'm not gonna say I'm not concerned. But I go back to Abraham. Like I'm just at a point now where I just want to deplug. Like no to everything and everybody. Like if he told Abraham in his old age, leave everything, your family, your country, your surroundings, he told him to start over. Over. And with something, I look at no as also being the oxygen mask. It's a way to take care of you.
Gotta breathe first.
You have to take care of you.
Like, no, you're right. I received that. I have, and I've over time, really the past. It hasn't been that long, but I have been saying, Larisha, you need to say no. It's okay. Yes,
and let us try to figure it out because unfortunately, with some of us, if we know somebody always gonna do it, and that's how I learned I can't be complicit in your nonsense. Love you to death, but me constantly being there, it's a form of enablement. And complicitness, because as long as I'm going to show up, why are you ever going to show up? And again, because I believe that we're gonna have to give account. Because even so, Bonnet Chronicles, and we gonna wind this down. She was
Bonnet Chronicles, Tammy Roman. Oh, I like her.
Oh yes, okay.
I love the Bonnet. Yeah, I love the Bonnet Chronicles.
She still do that?
Because we have to let people be. We everybody can't be our assignment. And I mean, I realize some things we do it to ourselves, but I think God is sometimes looking like, did I ask you to do that? Did I ask you to be that for them?
And then you paying the price because you didn't try to save somebody.
Yes.
I never asked, and it's wearing you out, but yet you taking the rope, I'm going to let you. And so sometimes I tell people like, no, I have to give certain people back to the one who made them.
Yes.
Because when there's nothing else I can do, there's nothing else I can say. God, you created them. They're your child. You handle it. Let me take my sanity. Let me be who I can be to them. And no more, no less. Because even being firstborn, being an only daughter, I overly did stuff. I called my parents, my senior teenage, and he like, I didn't tell you they were your kids. I didn't tell you to stop your life and to do. And it's things that we do. And he's like, but did I ask you to do that?
Right.
No. Some of it is just what it's almost like you fall into that. You fall into that role because you feel like that's what you should be doing, because sometimes some people say that's what you should be doing. So it's like, if you hear this from a child that this is what you should be doing,
well,
you just keep doing it. Yeah. And now
your parents and grandparents, like, I'm only doing what I saw done, but it's like, but you don't know what that was like for them.
For them, exactly. Because this is your journey. This is your journey, your life, and you need to take a hold of it in a different way. Yes. So no.
All of these things that fall in the realm of being open to receive the messages, the lessons, all of these things, because Gina hit on it, things that we saw happen in the past. Larisha, you hit on something, because I had to learn that lesson too, how to say no. And I thought about when you said, I said, well, Larisha, you have 3 beautiful, almost adult, one's
young adults.
Young adult. You have 3 young adults, right? You have a husband, you got the dog, and here you are, your life has been dedicated to your family. It's about time that you get to say to yourself, I'm gonna practice saying no. Right?
Thank you. Yes, and extended family and friends and coworkers and all the good things. It's all of it. But I say that where I think because I love so hard, like the people that are in my life, I have a nice circle. I love everyone so much. Like you all, Pam, everybody, my family. So it's hard to say no to the people that you love. But even I'll take that another step further, where even like within the kids activities or work, someone asks you to do something, it's just you're always saying yes, that you don't even think about saying no first. You're just like, oh, okay, I'll do it. Then it's like, wait a minute, I really should have just said no.
You called all of my friends who know I love them right now, and they say that they're having something. Who's the number one person who you don't think will be there? They're gonna be like, me, not because I don't love them. But I had to learn that. I had to practice that, because I went through that in high school. Like I just got overwhelmed, and then I went through it again with my hiatus, and I learned that was nothing but me just being there.
What I've tried to do, definitely this year and the past couple of years, is really leaving the space to show up for the people who I'm not gonna say love the most, but who I really want to show up for. Like not saying yes just because. Like I want to be there. In my heart, there's something I don't want to miss. I want to support. So yes, I'm going to go. But if it's something where it's like, I really don't feel like doing that, I'm not going.
Know that the love is there. Like somebody was asking, well, you didn't tell me. First of all, I don't self-promote. So that's just me. I'm not going to do that. You know what I mean? Because I don't bank on people.
Right.
To be there. I've just never been like that. But I think even when people can't show up, like when Mia couldn't make it to the weekend thing.
Oh yeah.
Sweetheart, airline shutting down. I think the Lord is telling you and Chan to stay y'all behind still and have babies.
Didn't he? I said, Gina, I think I just need to stay home. And I was calm.
But she wasn't saying no. That was more. It was.
But but some people would have took that personal because.
Oh, okay, no.
Too much onus on other people, and my thing is, if my friend can't be there, am I really thinking they're no longer my friend or my sister?
Right.
Oh, absolutely not.
Some perspective on that, and. Can you think about, because that was one of the things when Larisha's life did change. We had to receive, she's on a different level. And I had to explain that to certain friends. Hold up. She's a mother. You got to receive that first. So if we needed to do things, we had to respectfully give her heads up. Also understanding she's in a relationship. She's not by herself. So hold up. She can't stop, drop, and roll. So respectfully, we have to receive our girl, but on a different level. And if we want her to engage with us, we have to respect all of that. When she got married, still my girl. Right. She got married. She got my uncle. So again, respect to that. It's certain ways to move. So even in that, we have to be able to receive. When our friends elevate, when they fall off, when they disappear. You have to receive all of that stuff and treat
it accordingly.
Yeah,
and I think that this is a great way to end it. At the end of the day, I think we've gone through what that looks like in our faith space, what that looks like in our relationships, what it looks like in our families, our friend circles. But at the end of the day, the lesson is you have to be open. Open to receive what you may not even know you need. And it's gonna come in so many different ways, in so many different spaces, that it's always what they say, keep your head on the swivel. You keep your head on the swivel, like,
you know, I just learned that.
No, you did not.
First of all,
you just learned to keep your head on the swivel, Gina.
I'm trying to tell you, when I was in Baltimore with his sister, she was like, baby, you need to keep, I was like, keep your head on a what? You know me.
On us, but you know what? That whole, what's that thing you and Chan say? That whole shout out. I thought he made that up. I was like, shout out. What is that shout out?
No, you shout out. Yeah, that's now that I got. But the swivel, I'm like, because again, where I'm from, don't nothing happen. But again, that just shows you how God has hand on me. I'm just telling you.
I have no comment. I have no comment.
All the way 100 right here, because that goes to show how God has been keeping when you don't even realize how gullible.
But you had to keep your head on the swivel.
You had to keep on the swivel.
But I also keep myself out of certain spaces.
Right.
You know me, I'm a homebody. I'm
right. I guess
at home. So
that will explain that.
At home.
You to be at home.
I gotta change your dresses. So no, that's real. It is what it is.
Well, this was a beautiful way to end a week, start anew. The ladies of whatever and stuff, just having real conversation. You see how it rolls. We go from top to bottom, left to right. But at the end of the day, we're just keeping it real. Happy Sunday to all, and we will see you the next time.
See you next time.
Peace and blessings.